probably turn that up. Let me.
Yeah, turn yourself up.
Okay, that should be good, I think.
Yeah, you sound a whole lot better, because previously you sounded like nothing.
Wow.
Like your Hello Mario joke didn't even land because I just couldn't hear you. It's like you were an ant.
Okay.
Anyways, Stanley Parable. I'm a little late because um, I wanted to buy some stuff, and in my hurry to buy it fast, I kept getting my own information wrong.
Of course.
So, yeah. Anyways, um, I'll set up the side stream for you.
Mhm.
I almost clicked the wrong one. Okay, I don't know if I should have the camera or not because I haven't used it in a while and it's all really messy behind me. This is not showing my face at all. This is a wreck. Not that you can see the stream or anything. Yeah, it never show it like always cuts off my chin.
Uh,
I don't know how to get to like zoom out. Either that or the top of my head. I don't know, maybe I should just turn it off, but you're supposed to keep them on if you have them. I don't know, man. I'll just turn it off for now, and let's get that game capture up because without it. Okay, there it is. It was showing stuff like calculator. Here, let's. Oh, good, this game has subtitles. I love subtitles. You can see on your end, right?
yeah. Well, it
That's
says stream pause. Angel 2 has minimized their application sit tight.
okay. Well, that should be correct. It's just I'm resizing this huge screen onto a normal size screen. Here we go. Ah, subtitles. Ironically, I just recently quit my office job.
Okay, now you can see it. Yep.
Have you played it before? Yes. The computer is barely visible.
It's not supposed to be invisible, it's supposed to be barely visible. So middle is fine, I guess. I guess the brightness is different on your screen, but yeah, I can.
This
Uh,
seems correct.
I guess, yeah.
To the current time.
It's
That's
4:10. It's 4:11
I
p.m.
I know what time it is. It's just this is that's odd. It's 4:11 now. Six accessibility settings can be accessed from the main menu. Okay. It's got that's cute.
Sit. Oh, why'd you quit to decide?
You'll see why in a moment. Oh, I have to redo my time. Whatever. There's an achievement for quitting out of the game and then coming back immediately. Hang on, hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Is this the narrator? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you booted up the Game.
You need to stream it again. You're not streaming it. Well, I mean, to like the Discord.
I put up the stream again.
Well, it's just showing your icon with a blue background, so.
I'll stop streaming and I'll start streaming. There. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the time you're setting are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. Well, I should have gotten an achievement from that. Let's see. None of this
I
means...
set a field of view to 80. I set field of view to 80. It lets you see a bit more things without distorting the screen.
Okay, none of this means anything to me, so I'll trust you.
It's like in Minecraft, the FOV, it makes you see more stuff, but the edges of your screen distorts a bit more.
Why why does it have a jump button? We both know there's no jump in this game.
Never the end is loading.
The end is never loading.
This is the story of a man named
Oh,
Stanley.
that's loud. Wow.
Then turn it down.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
This is
And
what
although
office jobs
others
feel
might
like.
have considered it soul-rending,
Jobs
Stanley
are.
relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar
Oh
happened.
man, the music in this game
Something
always
that would
gets me.
forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Here, let me turn down the sound a bit on the stream because it's pretty loud. If anyone watching has any opinions on the sound, then definitely give them below. Okay. There's no zoom button like in Half-Life. Unfortunate. Recommendations for the Oversight Committee, general questions about bucket filling, a short history of the relations between Poland and Austria-Hungary. I'm sure these say something. Wait, what's this say? 56 years, I wonder. What? Can I not sit? Is it... Why do I go through it? I can't sit on it?
You can't sit on the original line either, right?
I thought I could.
Well, you can like exit the thing and then go back to that. Wait, no, I think you can just like stay here and he'll narrate it. Then that's the ending or whatever.
Well, that is one ending. I just got the ending for being dumb and pressing the jump button despite knowing I can't jump.
Workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm also
No
going to look
matter
for
how
Al's
hard
art.
Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Al actually found where her art was put in the game. It's a picture of the narrator and a character from another Crows game. I'm pretty sure this is how you get an ending. I just can't remember which one.
Now you can clip out of the window. And that's not an ending, but it is a unique path.
Interesting. I wish I could go look farther. What does this company even do other than create people to push buttons, enslave them? This game always has such weird vibes. Quarters misspelled, I think. This does not make sense! Me when I'm doing stats.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Left is... Okay, I'm used to going to the one on the right because that's where most of the endings are. I think we should go for the default ending this go.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
We're
Stanley
broke
decided
Wednesday.
to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What to do about 432? Don't tell 432 about meeting. Legal. 451's private time. This box is too small. Pre-review of weekly review. Ow! I got my toe stuck. Termination Tuesdays. Financial panic meeting. Me every day. Please, no more charts. Please, I'm begging. I wasn't even looking at the chart. At the... whatever. I forgot what it's called.
Stanley stepped into the broom. There was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yeah, I don't feel like going for the broom closet ending.
Coming to a staircase,
Oh,
Stanley
the first
walked
time I did
upstairs
this,
to his boss's office.
I disobeyed the narrator and went down here, saw how red it was, got too scared, and went back upstairs. I got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. Huh. I didn't know you could actually go into the executive bathroom. Is that exclusive to this game? Is there a bathroom ending? keep trying to jump to bunny hop. I don't even know how to bunny hop.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't pop it. Incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
It's not normally this dark.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Wow, I can not see anything.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Those sound like gunshots.
Yeah.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Oh, hey, you can...
Horrible secret
This
did
is how you
place
speed
hold?
run.
Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I don't want to accidentally fall.
Now the monitors jumped to life.
Fired.
Their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
That
It
one's
couldn't be
glitched.
true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No.
This is just
He
what
refused to
capitalism is
believe
like.
it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
Employee pirate.
Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
That's 3. One. 2. 3. Okay, 4. That one is 5. So which one's 4? It's over there. No, that's 2. Oh, 4's up here. The only problem I ever really had with this game and the original is that it's hard. You can't go fast.
Yeah, that point.
I do understand it's the point. It's just when replaying to get different endings, it gets pretty annoying. How do I get up there? That's number 4. The darkness settings. How do I get up? What door is this? Okay, goes around and down and to here, which, like, I should be able to get in. I set it too dark. I can barely tell what I'm doing. No flashlight button either. Because you don't need...
The dark well.
It's like this whole thing is just a mass of shadow. The hedgehog. How am I supposed to get up? Like, it's like, oh, go up the stairs, but I can't do it. What? Do they want me to get the explosion ending instead? Because I don't actually remember how to get that one. I'll have to restart this anyways. Now, where did 3 go? Is this a mirror? What's behind here? Does that look like anything to you?
It's a black screen for me, so...
Oh. Like, you can see stuff going on, right?
I see lights somewhere.
It's just too dark. I don't even know if I could get an ending from being stuck, I guess. The narrator's not giving me any hints. Maybe there's a new ending from here somewhere. I can't open this door. What if I go back? Oh, system power. I don't actually need to
And when at
push
last he
those
found
buttons,
the
do
source
I?
of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to
it's
this
like,
horrible place and to everything
Oh.
it stood for.
Oh, that was loud.
That was. I got stuck at the buttons and the door was already open.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life
There's a
lives,
skull over there.
it will be his. And that was all he needed.
This
to
is
know.
one of my favorite
It
endings.
was
I just
perhaps
love the optimism.
The only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Oh,
Stanley felt the cool
I'm stuck.
breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility.
Wow, I
of
can see a
new
bridge in the
path before
distance.
him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Achievement unlocked. Beat the game. And now we're back in the circle of hell. What did these say?
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Let's
this was
try to
not
find
the
something
correct way to
new.
the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
What is back here?
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I'm pretty sure you
Stanley
can
was
get
so
the most
bad
amount of
at following
endings from here.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Rent a fence.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't
I
here.
chose the red door
Running,
because I'm pretty
running,
sure
running,
if I
just
go
way
to the
do right
blue
now.
door, it's gonna lead to the
It's
suicide
killing you,
ending.
Stanley.
And I
I
don't
just
need that in my life right
wanted
now.
to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Oh,
Hmm.
I think I reached the suicide ending
Looking for?
by trying to avoid it.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we
Well,
just stay right
You gotta
here,
do like the
right
stair
in this
thing over and
moment
over.
with
You can
this
walk away
place,
from it.
Stanley,
I know, but there's no other ending to get. You're just kind of stuck there until you do it.
I actually feel happy.
You can always exit out of it.
I know, yeah, I'd prefer to not do the suicide ending. Let's see, how do you get the Minecraft ending?
Also, I remember that the
All of his
cutscenes
co-workers
are
are
all like
gone.
Gmod
What could it
looking,
mean?
so it looks
Stanley
like the
decided to
cutscene
go to the
ending of
meeting
that one.
room.
It just
Perhaps
looks like
he
a
had simply
Gmod
missed enough.
character. That's funny.
I mean, it was originally a Half-Life mod. I don't know how to get new endings though. That's where
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
could you help me
Feeling
figure
a
something
wave
out?
of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
I
office.
don't know. I don't even know if there's any guides on it yet.
Dang it.
It's only your second playthrough, so.
I know, but I know all the other endings, and I kind of wanted... I want to see something new. I wish I could pick stuff up and throw it. What? Business strategy?
Wow, that is something.
Okay, this is new. Hey, just when I was wishing for something new. I'm guessing this is the elevator ending.
Elevators. That's funny.
I think the narrator's humming along. Yeah, he is. Same room? I'll go down then. Oh, I'm guessing this is one of those pseudo endings where it's not an actual ending and it's just for funsies.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation.
Certificate
His
of
attention was caught by a
pompousness.
keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, This keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known
What is the
this.
change per route?
Oh, no, it's always the same.
By simply pushing random
I was
buttons
just
on
making...
this,
It's unlike each of the
Stanley
numbers
happened to
that he
input
was
the
saying
correct
was
by
individually
sheer
like recorded, so you could like
He
so
stepped
they
into
could
the
stitch
newly
together.
opened
Ah.
passageway.
And by the guide thing I said earlier, I meant like the guide for the old game, because I don't think they're going to change how to get certain endings.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Is this going to get me a new ending?
Nope. Never mind. Stanley activated into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out. Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what...
Let me out!
What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
This guy does not like me in this run.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
I wonder if I do it a certain amount of times if that will
This
give me an
time,
ending.
Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor. Stanley
Should I
walks
try
straight
it?
ahead through the large door that
Try
read
what?
Mind
Going back
Control
again?
Facility.
Going back up, sure.
Maybe that will give me an ending.
Well, he's getting new stuff, so I assume so, yeah.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No.
Corridor.
It's time once again to go back up in the elevator.
Maybe this is the elevator
Time to
ending.
begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
This guy's like most sarcastic character in all of video game. Okay, but what if it's not the boss's office this time? Oh!
Oh my god. It's the boss's office.
Yeah, that scared me.
It did. It scared me
That's
too.
everything for me. Give me a timeout here for a minute while I process this.
Process. This is definitely a new ending.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process.
This
Probably
guy.
walk during this.
I'm not hearing my footsteps, so probably not.
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
Let me open the door.
nervous. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
I'm going to go back up again.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the
Yes!
anticipation.
Here's the ending part.
You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is
So
why
true.
we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley, because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better.
Ooh. Now this is a new ending.
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
The guy who went to Mars. How we did it. The pyramids. World's healthiest human being. All tricks revealed. It's just Stanley's face. The storyteller. I want to open that door. I want to get in. Yeah. Wait.
That's really funny.
Is okay, is this the image Al created with that you know that site where you mess things
Yeah,
cartoons?
You like.
I'm pretty sure this is that image that Al made. She
That'd be
showed it to
pretty
me
cool.
plenty of times. Like, her art's in the game. It's not unrealistic to expect that her weird meme is in the game.
Weird mini.
All eyes on Stanley. An evening with world peace baby.
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door.
The Stanley Parable Stanley. Tonight, live on stage. The man, the process, the myth, the legend, the parable. A Q&A with the world's first sentient machine. Doing great. A conversation with Alexander the Great.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry. You'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley.
That's cute.
Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
I'm so sorry, sir, but unfortunately, not
Eyes on the
unfortunately.
walls.
Oh, this is very Magnus Archives core. I love the way you ride elevators. Thanks for showing me that cool skateboard trick in the parking lot. You are too cool. Good luck on stage. Rock on. This boss really wants us to break our legs. But anyway, sorry, sir. What's it called when they don't have a voice for the protagonist?
Silent protagonist.
Silent protagonist, yeah. Sorry, I'm a silent protagonist. Let's see. An unforgiving account of ups as well as downs, highs and lows isn't what life's all about. Star Magazine. I'd love to be able to read this tiny text. But yeah, Magnus Archives room. Oh, this is a lot of I cannot hear anything.
Yeah, it's so loud. Wow.
So, I guess that was an official ending considering the fact that it restarted me back at this office here.
All of his
Still
co-workers were
time
gone.
ending, so.
What could it
Well,
mean?
yeah, I said an
Stanley
official
decided to go
ending.
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Do you know about the Easter egg in this section? Sometimes you can see a coworker walking down.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people found it scary because the game's whole new content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean?
That's really funny.
New content.
Let me in.
Let me-
Is this gonna be like the end of Portal?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Awesome.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and
That's really
home
funny.
computers.
The meta endings are good.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Ultra deluxe content.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. it broken? What's going on here? Should we...
This is what I get for wanting new content.
Somewhere oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready.
I'm sure this would be a funny one to get your first time going through the game.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Stanley can't give it to you. Stanley's just a player. Wait, oh, it's behind me. Oops.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
What happens if I just pass by it?
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Wait, I can't even jump in this game.
Oh.
This is the only place you can jump. I'm sure this is an inside joke to something. I can't do any more jumping. I used all the jumps.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Something about this corridor makes me feel uncomfortable. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore."
Oh, this must be where I get that achievement.
I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. My fault.
Twitter.
I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills.
Old
no
content.
tears. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
I'm gonna use that screenshot of thanks for enjoying the new content every time someone compliments my art. Oh,
Oh.
this is new.
New content. Whoa.
Maybe this is one of the ones where you have a random chance of happening upon the room.
Oh, imagine in, you know, the game section where you go through a bunch of different games. Imagine this one is By Night at Freddy. That's funny.
Stanley, come over here.
Half-Life!
In the vent. I want to show you something.
Don't say that.
But it's among. Why didn't you go in the vent?
I'm gonna. I just want to know if there's other stuff to do.
Well, there is, obviously, but there's.
Oh, I'm gonna make such a funny joke to my friend. One moment.
Ah, come on.
Here, let me... Just gotta take a screenshot of this. Finally, a new Half-Life game. There we go.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
It's kind of gay, man.
Guy Fieri, the hidden Guy Fieri in here.
The hidden Guy Fieri? Oh. Oh, this is gorgeous. Why? Okay.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game
It's a screenshot of when the game
back then, video
launched,
games
but
had
apparently in
integrity.
Russian.
Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Oh, it's awards. The Last of Us. They put Stanley Parable over it. This is cute. Our first kiss, my first car, the release of the Stanley Parable in 2013. And then the OG ending. The original remake. Mozilla Firefox. $1. Oh, the demo. Don't play for 5 years. It's impossible to get this achievement. Game innovation, debut game, story. New video game releasing today. Creators surprisingly down to earth. $50, 50% off. Designer hat, but a small creature owns the other half. The insanity ending. Loving memory of little Stanley. Oh! This must have been one of the developer's pets that died. Aw.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no game
It was
at all.
Minecraft.
It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
There's so many images. Oh, look! It's a little statue of Stanley and a little statue of the woman that discovers him dead in the Insanity ending.
Oh wow.
Why can't I take a screenshot?
Stanley Amiibo.
Stanley Amiibo?
Woman who sees Stanley dead Amiibo.
Woman who sees Stanley dead Amiibo. One sec, I need to make this joke to Al. There we go. I'm back again. Oh, and then game logs from making it. Top 10 memories from the Stanley Parable 2013. Whose car is this? Who's Scott K? This is an awesome house.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
This probably means something. This door is open now too, the serious room. Oh yeah. That's the bit where you got the phone call from your girlfriend.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
Oh, the door's open now.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Oh. If this is like Half-Life, I can go behind this. Steam reviews. Oh, these are unfortunate reviews.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online... I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's being collected here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Imagine rating the Stanley Parable bad, and then 9 years later, your review gets used in the video game. Oh, these, I know them from Half-Life. This game isn't even main source, though.
could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
This is a gorgeous environment. This is a weird texture. Oh, this one's positive.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or
I don't know what
a
those
manifesto.
words mean.
Look, I'll
I think that's the
outline it
point.
for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice
Oh.
into being, then by making
I'm
no
probably
choice
supposed to
and
skip
saying nothing,
this.
are you not simply Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertip.
I'm sorry,
Okay,
sir.
welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer.
Oh, no.
That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unenjoyable.
There's no door
by any
anymore.
means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window, or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again.
Oh, I feel bad.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times.
I feel bad about this.
Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2
This one's kind of scary.
sitting here all that time. Just sitting
Yeah.
here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking?
I wonder what happens if you let him keep going on forever.
It isn't even close, because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to
I'm gonna
know
release
that
my dog
someone
real
was
quick.
listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley, not the outcome of the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in.
I get
These
that.
words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps, yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time. That if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward.
I'm sorry,
and
sir.
I can tell that I am becoming less and less real. Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time.
This feels
I stopped
really
keeping
long.
track after a year. Have you ever sat down
Yeah.
in one place and not
Oh, whoa,
moved for
a year.
one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a...
I'm sorry. Did he die?
Allowed. Okay, that is allowed.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. most immediate desires. Every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the...
I think he died.
The place is certainly leaking now.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the...
I think if they did ever want to put something scary into the game, this would be the spot to put it.
Portal.
A portal! One sec. I keep taking screenshots. Woman who sees Stanley dead amiibo. Oh, this is beautiful. I do think the narrator is probably truly dead by now. This is a really long ending. These are scary noises.
Whoa.
This kind of scares me. This ending isn't good for my agoraphobia.
What's agoraphobia?
Big, wide open spaces like the endless deep of the ocean, the endlessness of space, wide open fields where it's the same thing going on and on and on and on and on and on. Forever. Remember that motorcycle game we had as a kid where if you went out of bounds, it would be flat and then it would boom you? That's what gave me agoraphobia. That's what made me so
Yeah, I get
scared.
that. I gotta have something a bit like that.
That was quite an ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content. Is this the same ending?
You notice my sign? Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Elevator.
They jammed the door. New content. Why is it written on the other side as well?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This
Taste the
is
sequel.
what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Two doors. More Stanley Parable, better Stanley Parable. The color red. New hotness. Oh, it's a PowerPoint presentation.
All the different types.
Thanks for
Oh,
attending my meeting.
The Stanley Parable one and the last one, that's actually pretty smart.
It reminds me of what they did with Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
Where it had the 8.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game
You
will
are the
sort of
sequel.
naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out.
That's how I feel about
Development is
characters.
much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Lyrics. I realized that I probably shouldn't skip around everything because this is probably sequels are good. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Batman Arkham Asylum 2, City, Divinity, Original Sin 2, Doom 2, Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, Dark Souls 2! They just threw in that one movie. Crab, the ultimate sequel. This is a good image. I'm realizing that this is probably the section where Al's art is.
Probably.
Considering the screenshot she shared of it. Who took the red marker? Me!
2 eyes, 2 nostrils.
I can't go back, but hopefully it's further rather than previously. Color scheme of the game. Whoa.
Whoa, that is a lot.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Merch. I saw the new content. This t-shirt is the best new
They should allow
feature.
us to buy it.
What?
They should allow us to buy it.
Yeah, it would do really well, I'm sure. It's Stanley!
Oh wow, that is so
Please no screenshots. Okay, which section should I look at first?
maybe
I think
the
I'll
red
look up
hallway.
Hear your name in the game.
I think
Name
that's
of the
the
player
next
that's
part of it,
visiting.
so I recommend not going through it since it's the 2 doors thing, probably next part of the game, so
I mean, there's so many little bits.
I know. It is a lot.
Whole new office. Red is the new orange. The new updated ray trace, more of the same, but in a good way, sequel to the consistent quality with just the right amount of change. Jump circle, infinite hold, the button that says the name of the player that is playing the game.
You should go to that, the button.
Yeah, I should. But
I think it's the other way.
I don't really want to go to the bucket yet. Why are there 2 doors to the same room?
For the Stanley Parable 2,
Yeah, because
I
of the 2
asked
doors thing,
myself,
Lorelai.
what
Oh,
do
yeah.
players really want?
I told you,
And of
literally just a
course,
second ago.
the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button, which speaks... Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here.
That's what they tried to do with Fallout 4.
To really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Jim,
Hey,
okay.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the background. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name.
What if your name is already
Okay,
Jim?
we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim.
I can't imagine what
Staying
Jim
up
looks
all
like.
night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim. Developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim. Rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim. And finally, dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim.
Oh wow.
Do you feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
I don't think I want to be Jim.
Please step forward and press the button.
Jimothy.
Jimathan.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again. Jim. Oh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation. Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
It sinks into the floor.
Yeah.
The Jim button away. I'm putting the Jim button away. I'm gonna push these buttons.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
That's Yandere dev thinking.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
It will someday.
Sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew
That is
which
true.
one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on. You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh, well. I suppose it can jump... Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to give you the achievement. Yes. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley. I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Gamers, we hear you.
What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Oh, and then there's the girl.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think Al said her name was Mary Sola or something like that. This is a very funny Stanley. John Arbuckle looking ass. Ooh.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unrememberable life.
This is really funny. They should sell these as well. Are there actually 6 in the game?
Wow.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic. Oh goodness, Stanley, this is fairly awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the bucket exhibit.
Okay.
You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves the bucket. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the bucket, okay? All right, I'll get out of your hair now.
Where's the infinite hole? Take me to it.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top.
The what button?
Continue onward.
Teleport.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Stanley Parable mod that doesn't let you run, but does let you skip like a little boy. I still do wish I could jump. More than the jump circle.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
The bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of
Engendered.
despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many
Is this the Half-Life 2 bucket?
contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Looks good.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort.
The laugh reminded me that the one of the beginning of Feel Good
Inc.
Inc.
Sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already. So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
This is also about Yandere
I
Dev.
wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it.
This is a really long ending.
Simply,
Yeah.
well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect.
Ultra
With care for the
Deluxe.
vision and integrity of
Anyone?
the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, this is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
executive mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chin. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I found it!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these. Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment.
He looks so concerned. Al also helped with some of the art direction and stuff.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light
Okay.
dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Did I do it right?
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
I was so close.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini Stan?
That's what I was gonna say.
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
That makes it sound like some kind of toilet.
Stanlerine under your belt.
I've got 3 so far. There's 3 more. I wonder where to find them. Because I know there's no achievement, but
The elevator raced downward.
I really like
an unknown
achievement.
It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death. But of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for. The lights rose on an enormous
Hi, Mama.
packed with television screens.
No, I'm streaming.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and
Okay.
the bucket both
Well,
wondered
I was going to
themselves.
drive over to Kim's. Didn't know if you wanted to come with me. You've chosen to do this instead. Okay,
What?
we're just running out of time, so
For what?
before I go.
Okay.
But if
I am almost
if
done
if
with
you don't-
this.
Well, if you don't care.
I don't really want to go there, but I do want to hang out with you. So when you come back, we could hang out? I don't think that was the right answer. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
How long until someone makes a bucket Kajinka and ships them?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raised.
I should have gone for an ending I didn't already have.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
No!
His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never... Stanley and the bucket waited in silence. Was it over?
What happens if you don't pick up the bucket? Does it just go a normal route? Or does it mention that he's
They had
bucketless?
done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, and go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
How about that new content? It blew! It's the rare blue version.
All of his
Wait, oh, it has...
clothes were gone. What could it mean?
Where's the rare blue
Stanley
version have the
decided to go
bucket?
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I think there's an ending you can get from the blue version.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. And
I don't know
Stanley
if I've
knew
finished the
perfectly
ending
well.
or not.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of
This
the
is
oven.
my second. This is one of my top 3 endings.
Okay, there we
I think
go.
this is just the normal ending, though.
I want you to come in and tell me all about your
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Do you think this counts as a
Stanley is quite a
AI
boring
is
fellow.
self-aware kind of
Job that
story?
requires nothing of him.
Yeah.
And every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's
Haunted
going
woman.
home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
To 6 polygon.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic
Have you ever seen this ending?
adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job.
Where's the
First, he
TV?
imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to
TV?
realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Press V to spend time with the boys!
He went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Press N to tell your wife you love her.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
How long do I gotta wait? I wonder if this clock works in real time.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
See, now this chair's not... This chair, I can't go through it now.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time you'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
I think I'm gonna be... The sequel is now paused. I'm gonna be done for now because the game's kind of getting on me, you know? The kind of... A lot of the themes the game has kind of play to what I'm scared of. And not in a, ooh, horror game type of way. But...
See you later.
Okay, bye-bye. Not in a horror game type of way, but in a existentialism kind of way. Like the fear of not being able to control your own life and your own actions. If you've ever heard listened to the Magnus Archives, they call it the web. But yeah, I think I'm going to be done for